Namo Amidats, Namo Amidats, Namo Amidats. Welcome to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's Sunday YouTube family service. Today's service is for January 31st, 2021. So we've already reached the end of the first month of 2021. Time is already flying. Today's service is just our regular family service, and today is also the fifth Sunday. So in the months that we normally have the fifth Sunday, we would generally have our Kahului Hongwanji Board of Directors be in charge of the service, and then they would have some kind of a presentation or talk instead of the Dharma message. But because of the situation now, we'll still just have the regular Dharma message, but we will have a short message from our president at the end of the service as well, our Kahului Hongwanji Board President, Wade Toyama. So we will have that at the end of the service, but otherwise we have a regular service today, and that beginning with the Vandana Tisarana, followed by the Sutra, which today will be 12 homages, or the English version of Junirai. Then we will recite the Golden Chain of Love, and then I will share a Dharma message with you. And following that, we will have the Metta, or the Loving Kindness meditation, the singing of the Nimbutsu, and then some closing words. Okay, so let's begin the service now, first by putting our hands together and reciting the Nimbutsu, and then we will have the Vandana and Tisarana, followed by the 12 homages. So please join me in Gasho, and we will recite the Nimbutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Bhutang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amidats, 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 Namo Amidats. Gods and men all bow in awe to Amida the revered, in Buddha's wondrous pure land. Bodhisattvas gather round, golden form
like the mountain king, steadfast like the elephant's pace. Buddha's eyes like the blue lotus. Thus I bow to Amida. Buddha's form round like the moon, bright like 1,000 suns and moons. Buddha's voice like the nightingale. Thus I bow to Amida. Buddha's figure on Kanon's crown, adorned with wondrous features. Buddha subdues evilness. Thus I bow to Amida. Beyond compare, Amida's pure, virtue shining clear like space. All benefit from Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas all renown, Maras to praise Amida. Primal vow made for our sake. Thus I bow to Amida. Golden ponds where lotus bloom, towers a throne of goodness. Buddha lives like the mountain king. Thus I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas come afar, attaining true happiness. They revere the Buddha's face. Thus I bow to Amida. All life changes like the dew. We have no permanent self. Buddha teaches this law to all. Thus I bow to Amida. No evil in the Pure Land, and no fear of evil paths. Faithful hearts honor Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, saving us through many ways. No tempters, no evil friends. Birth leads to enlightenment. Thus I bow to Amida. Amida, thus I have praised, virtues boundless like the sea. These virtues shared with others, for birth into the Pure Land. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Well, good morning again, and I'd just like to share with you at this time a few thoughts about the Buddha's teaching. Would you join me in Gassho as we recite the Nimbutsu? Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. So as I mentioned before the pandemic, we always used to have a special board Sunday on the fifth Sunday when and then our board of directors and president would make some kind of presentation. And but now that with the pandemic and the YouTube services, it's we just kind of do a regular service usually on the fifth Sunday. But as I said, we will have a few words from Wade Toyama, our board president, coming up toward the end of the service. But so today I just like to, because it is the fifth Sunday, just maybe do something a little different instead of the regular sort of formal Dharma message. And I just like to have share a few reflections with you. One of the things that I would sometimes do in our regular Sunday services occasionally have a question and answer, and also and so people could ask questions and I could answer them as best I can. And also I would sometimes just share some reflections, some quotations, things like that, and then just talk about them. And so that's a very interesting thing that people really enjoy. But I'll try to do a little something like that today. So, you know, talking about really asking questions, you know, people sometimes often come to religion, you know, to get answers, to clear up the mysteries of life. And it's sort of our nature. We're looking for clear, final answers. You know, we just want it, you know, what's the answer? We want to know exactly what this means. And, you know, sometimes when we're just looking for answers, we may get answers. We often get answers, but we may not get really meaningful answers. We might just get things that kind of, well, they're convenient for us to hear. You know, they reinforce things that we already believe or already accept, and they don't challenge us. The process of asking questions is really in itself, you know, questions lead to more questions, not to final answers. We keep growing, we keep opening up, learning more. That's the point of questions, and especially very important in Buddhism. But, you know, when you just get a final answer, you know, when you're just looking for final answers, and when you think you have a final answer, from a Buddhist point of view, that's not such a good thing, you know. That means that you've stopped listening, right? If you say, I have the answer, well, I don't need to listen anymore. I don't need to be open to other opinions. I don't need to reflect. I already know the answer. So the answer is not so important. Reflecting questions and reflecting on the questions and listening, that's the important thing. So let me start by asking a question, since you can't ask me a question. This is not a live thing. So I will ask a very simple question that I have been asked many times from people, and the question is, you know, in Buddhism, when you have a question, are there right or wrong answers? Is there a right answer or a wrong answer? And well, I can say that yes, there's a right answer. The right answer is that there is no absolutely right or wrong answer when it comes to questions about Buddhism. let me give you a little bit of an involved example, and it's another question that people have often asked over the years. They say, do we go to the Pure Land when we die? That's a kind of a thing that people often hear in many Buddhist temples, that when you die you go to the Pure Land. Or other schools of Buddhism, many schools of Buddhism say that you're reborn in another life and you go through, everything on the path toward, ultimate path toward enlightenment. Okay, so let me try to answer this question. Let's just stay with the Pure Land idea. Do we go to the Pure Land when we die? Okay, I can say that the answer is yes. So to become enlightened, to become a Buddha, we have to follow this very difficult Buddhist path and become a bodhisattva and make vows and work for the salvation, for the enlightenment of all beings. And then after all that's accomplished, then we become a Buddha. That's the sort of general context, but most of us cannot do that. It's very difficult to perfect ourselves. In fact, it's impossible for most of us. We're just too full of our ego and negative karma that sort of we drag around with us, and it's very difficult. So we have this notion, this idea of Amida Buddha, who is really the infinite power of perfection that saves everyone. This great boundless compassion, boundless wisdom that embraces everyone just as we are. And so because the bodhisattva, main thing about a bodhisattva is that being, that person vows to save all beings. Then so Amida's great vow, the vow of boundless compassion, saves all of us just as we are. So all Buddhas are said to have their own special land, their own special land of enlightenment, which they have created through their vows. And so we, who cannot save ourselves in this life, we all go to Amida's Pure Land, which he vowed to save all beings regardless of their condition. So Amida's Pure Land is for everyone. Anyone can go there. And so we can say from that context that yes, there's a Pure Land and we go to it when we die. But I could just as easily answer this question in another way. If you ask, do we really go to the Pure Land when we die? I could say the answer could be, no, we don't go to the Pure Land when we die. The Pure Land is a metaphor for the reality of Amida's compassionate mind, which permeates all existence. In the Pure Land tradition, to go to the Pure Land means to have the insight of all of reality, that all of reality is really the world of awakening, and that all existence is so deeply interconnected that all of us are saved together in this very moment through the working of Amida, of great compassion. Of course, so long as we live as self-centered living beings who cannot let go of attachments and ego and selfishness, our birth in the Pure Land and our enlightenment is what you might say provisional. It's more or less an idea. At our death, our ego existence is completely destroyed, you might say, and eradicated, and so then we can be said to have attained Buddhahood. However, to become Buddha means to completely transcend and go beyond our ego self. And so it's not I who become Buddha. Buddha becomes Buddha. Going beyond, once we let go of our ego self, there's no I, there's only Buddha. Also, we should remember that the fundamental teaching of Buddhism, which came from Shakyamuni Buddha, is that we have no permanent self. There's no I, there's no permanent I. In every moment of life, the thing we call ourself is not eternal, and it's not reborn. It simply arises through causes and conditions, constantly changes, and eventually comes to an end. So the answer to the question also might be the question of, do we go to the Pure Land when we die? It might also be, no, there's no Pure Land, and we don't go anywhere when we die. We're just gone. However, if on another day you happen to ask me the question, do we really go to the Pure Land when we die? I might have to answer a third way. I might say, I don't know. Because I haven't yet died, you see? I've not gone to the Pure Land. I've never gone there. Or I have never not gone there when I died. And then I've not gone to the Pure Land and returned to tell you about it. So for me to say, yes, there is a Pure Land, or no, there is not a Pure Land, or yes, something happens after death, or no, nothing happens after death, all that might be kind of arrogant and silly. Because I don't know. I can't know. I don't think anyone knows. What we can know is the truth that Shakyamuni Buddha suggested we reflect on, which is that we are changing beings, impermanent beings, and everything about us, including our bodies, minds, opinions, likes and dislikes, and so on, all have an impermanent existence. We can know this from our experience. We can see things come and go, arise and disappear. We also know from our own experience, if we're honest about it, that most of life is a complete mystery. Most of reality seems to be beyond conception. And all we can say is, this is what I see, this is what I perceive. That's all. None of us can say, I can see the complete picture, I see it all, I know all about this world and I know about the next world. Actually, we barely know this world at all. We certainly know nothing about the world beyond our perceptions, the world beyond death. What we can perhaps also know through reflection, through deep reflection, and through listening to the voice of the Buddha calling to us from within, is that every moment of this life is itself a transcendent and unrepeatable expression of all the life that has gone before and all the life that surrounds us, nurtures us, supports us, and guides us. This is the interdependence of all things, the great truth of Buddhism, and it is experienced only in the present moment, which is impermanent, right? Only in this moment, which is gone, but always here. So in a sense, we might say that we're always born. We always experience the Pure Land, the fulfillment of our existence completely within this present moment. And yet, we're also just our ordinary self, full of ego, forgetfulness, foolishness, right? Selfishness. So I hope that was a clear answer to this question about the Pure Land. I mean, you can see it's not clear, right? It's reflection. It's reflection. The great American writer H.L. Mencken once said, "For every complex problem, there is an answer that is clear, simple, and wrong." So what H.L. Mencken was saying, I think, is that honest answers to serious questions about life are never going to be simple and clear. They don't let us off the hook or resolve everything for us. They're always going to challenge us and force us to think deeply, to reflect, and to let go of our desire for convenient or flattering truths. They're going to force us to take responsibility for being here and now. They're going to bring us to appreciate the infinite love that makes living possible. So going back to the original question about whether there are right or wrong answers in Buddhism, remember that question way back then? Perhaps the answer might make a little more sense now. The right answer is that there is no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to questions about Buddhism. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to ultimate questions about life. We need to take life and all the problems inherent in life moment by moment. We need to take them all now. Always reflecting, always questioning. In this moment, this present moment, that's where we always need to be. Not in the past and not dreaming about the future. Always in the present moment. That's what Buddhism does. It brings us back to the present moment. That's what Nimbutsu is. It's the call of the Buddha bringing us back to the here and now, to realize I am who I am now because of boundless life, which makes this moment possible, makes everything about me possible, and to respond in gratitude and humility to everyone around us for the help that they give us to allow us to live our life, to experience the great joy of each moment of life. So in this day and age, when there's so much conflict and people so angry at each other over their opinions, over what are really just opinions, how things should be, what's the right way, right? We need to come back to the present moment, come back to humility and appreciation, gratitude. Only that will straighten things out and allow us to see something of the way things really are. I guess the bottom line is we cannot trust our opinions when there's no gratitude, when there's no appreciation, when we are certain about our answers, only when we are full of questions, only when we are searching and continually reflecting, always going deeper, never trusting our self-centered, mind to know what's right. We always have to keep questioning and asking, looking deeper. So, as I said, another thing that I would sometimes do, we sometimes do here, is we have reflections on, kind of share some reflections. And I have just in a little bit of time, I'd like to share a couple of reflections. So this one I call winners versus losers. And so in our world, our kind of, we sometimes say secular world, or just our modern society, most people believe that if I attain success in the eyes of the world, if I attain wealth or fame, then it must be because I'm good, I'm deserving, I must be doing the right things. Many people credit their success as being a reward given to them by, fate or God or karma, and that it's due to and that they have been successful. They are winners because of their talent or because of their inherent virtue. And this is the view of religion that many people have in our society. I mean, many people, period, not just our society. However, all the great faith traditions were started. This is very important to reflect on. Another question that needs to be reflected on, not just answered. All the great faith traditions were started by losers. Let me say it this way. Okay, is that shocking? They were started not by successful people, but by losers, people who were not in sync with conventional views of society, people who were not trying to get, a lot of hits on social media or whatever they call it, with all this thumbs up and all those kinds of things. Their success in founding a religious tradition was usually not even realized in their lifetime. But in any case, that kind of success, true success, is only attained by those who are willing to be failures, to be, you might say, fools in the eyes of society. So the point is, we're so much taught to seek success, to be winners, to seek to attain what we want, that we lose sight of, and again, this goes back to what we were talking about before, that the interdependence, the oneness of life has made us who we are. The fullness of our life is already realized each moment. We need to let go of our desire to always think that the true fulfillment, the true happiness is somewhere out there. It's not. It's always right here. Namo Amida Butsu. And to rely on the approval or the vindication of the opinions of others is really the path, which of course is what most people are doing. Most of us are trained to do in this world. It's really the path toward losing ourselves, toward losing our true self, toward wasting our life. So, don't worry about whether you win or lose. Don't worry about whether you are a successful or a failure. Start with the present moment and find that true humility, that true appreciation and gratitude for life that we're living now, and see what happens. That's how we find that our true success in life, by realizing life fully and by living with true appreciation. And I have one more reflection for you. Do I have one more? Let's see. Yes, so this is a quote, and I can't remember where it came from, but this is a quote that I read somewhere, and it says that there are two aspects of being a human being. One is that we're able to ask the question, do I really want to harm or kill this living being? So when we're in a situation, whether you're going to swat a fly, kill a cockroach, right, or something worse, only human being can stop and ask this question: do I really need to kill this living being, this other being, even if it's a cockroach or an ant that has a complete life of its own? Do I really need or want to kill this being? That's one thing that makes us human. The other thing is the desire and the mind to tell stories or to create beautiful things. Now, when I heard this quote, there's two aspects of being human, I was really astonished, because I think most people wouldn't say that. They would say, well, human beings can have reason and they have language and all this kind of thing. But actually we've learned that all living beings have some form of communication, some form of language, and our traits, our tool making is not unique to humans. We know that now. We used to think that was human beings were the tool makers, but now we know other species make tools. But I thought this quote was very perceptive. Being a Buddhist is to realize our true humanity, our deepest sense of what it means to be a human being. So when I say, only as a human being do we have that consciousness to be able to say, do I really want to kill this living being? And very interestingly, of course, there's the dark side of that is that only as a human being might we say, yes, I do want to kill this living being. So we really have a challenge in our life, right? To realize the preciousness of life. And only as humans can we realize that, but we also have this massive ego that can drive us to do all kinds of things just for gratification. So it's very complicated, but I think very, very profound. So that question, do I want to harm, right? And and that means, I have sympathy. I can have sympathy for this other being. And the other question is, I can tell stories and create beautiful things. Only human beings do that or desire to do that, right? We don't just live, we don't just exist, but we create beautiful things. We tell stories about the past, about the meaning of life, just what we've been doing here. All of this is a story, right? Just thinking, reflecting, it's a story. We're creating a beautiful thing, which is an understanding of life, which is always growing, always being created anew every day through our new experiences. So those are my reflections that I wanted to share with you today. So thank you very much for listening, and please join me in Gassho now as we recite the Nimbutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. And we will now chant the metta, the loving kindness meditation. So please also join me in Gassho as we do that. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
At this time, our Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist temple president, Wade Toyama, would like to share a few words with us. So let's please listen to him. Thank you.
Hello and Happy New Year's. Shinen akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. Haole makahiki ho. 2020. What can I say that probably hasn't already been said? Between a global pandemic, the social isolation, economic depression, breakdown of political discourse, and the loss of many loved ones, 2020 has been a year for the history books. But New Year's is a time to reflect on the past and move forward. And reflecting on the past, I would like to give a huge thank you to all of our supporters who have helped us out throughout the previous year. All the big and small donations, it's because of you and your generosity that has kept this temple operating. I would also like to thank everyone who came out to the fundraiser in December. It was successful. I apologize, I couldn't recognize a lot of people with masks on, and I forgot people's names, but all in all, I think it went pretty well. I would like to give a huge thank you to all of our teachers and staff at the preschool. They're working very hard, and supporting the parents of our community. We still have many openings, so if anyone is interested, please give our preschool a call, 808-877-7998, or check them out online at Kahului Hongwanji preschool.com. Now, with the rough year that we've had, I'm generally optimistic for the future. I think that there are a lot of good things that we can move forward towards. And like the saying goes, never let a tragedy go to waste. I think this is a time for us to make some necessary changes for the continued survival of the temple. And myself and the board will work towards trying to implement some new changes to try to bring, to try to help keep our temple going. And speaking of optimism, vaccines, we're a little bit slow, but vaccines are rolling out, and the temple would like to encourage everyone in our community to go and get vaccinated. They're currently on category 1B, which I believe many of our members qualify for. If you need help, there are many resources available, and we at the temple would like to help you guys out as much as possible. So feel free to give us a call the office. Reverend and Kelly can help answer any questions. So please give us a call, 808-871-4732. And again, please be safe, wear masks, social distance, wash your hands, and the temple can't survive without its members. And again, thank you to everyone who is supporting us, and we hope to see you in the new year. Kotoshi mo yoroshiku onegai itashimasu.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Please join us again next week for our regular YouTube Sunday service, and I hope that this service was of interest to you and that there's something meaningful that you could take away with you. Following these words, you'll see the scrolling text, which will have a few announcements that you might want to take a look at. So thank you very much, and please join me in Gasho, and we will recite the Nimbutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida.